Hello, Better Live Life crew. I'm Christina, coach, combat vet, and community change agent. So, with ADHD, it can be hard to stick to a plan, a schedule, or even an interest long enough to accomplish any goal. Sometimes we try to set goals, and it always seems like we fail miserably. Sometimes we don't even bother because we know ourselves. So, what if I told you you can set goals? You can achieve them. Ultimately, I'll make several videos about goal setting and how to accomplish your goals with ADHD. Today, I want to look at a few ways in which setting goals with ADHD might look different from basic goal setting you have been taught before. Most of us have heard of SMART goals. It stands for setting goals that are specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. That's all well and good, but it has never worked well for me unless the goal is already small enough and short enough that my odds of getting distracted are pretty low already. So first, a minor gripe that I am not the first person to identify. If it is a self-improvement goal, specific can be very hard to identify. If I want to get healthier, I could tie that to a weight goal or consuming a specific amount of vegetables, but those are very imperfect measures of health. If you are starting from the bottom, these can be wonderful, important markers along the way, but they are milestones, not the goal itself. I could set a goal to drop my cholesterol by 30 points, but we aren't supposed to set goals that aren't within our control. And unless your cholesterol is really high and 30 points would just be a milestone goal, that reduction might not be 100% within your control without medical intervention. Or if I meet the goal, I may assume I'm done and the junk food goes right back into my diet. Continuous learning goals have the same issues, like learning a language or an instrument. How do I set a goal that is specific, measurable, and time-bound? I could do one Duolingo lesson a day, which is measurable, but the goal for my learning is neither specific nor time-bound. I'm going to keep doing it until I learn Spanish. The end is unknown and therefore not time-bound. I can create an artificial time-bound constraint by taking a trip to a Spanish-speaking country, but if the goal is to learn Spanish, that isn't the end of my goal, it's just a milestone along the way. To continue with the language example, if I booked a trip to a Spanish-speaking country and learn and practice Spanish until I go, it would be very easy to confuse going to Costa Rica with learning Spanish and assume that I am done after the trip. With ADHD, it could also be very easy to lose interest and stop my learning after the trip. With ADHD, we have to be very clear with ourselves regarding what is the big goal and what are simply check-in points. We can set milestones along the way, but we need to be very clear in our minds about what these are. Instead of telling people I am learning Spanish to go to Costa Rica, I would say I am going to Costa Rica for vacation and to practice my Spanish. It seems like a small difference, but in our own minds, it can be the difference of whether we keep studying when we get back. I'm not saying to throw out the idea of SMART goals. I'm just saying that we need to be clearer about what the big goal is, why we are doing it, and what are just small goals that help us develop the bigger goal. And we need to be very flexible with how we get there. Think about your goal as a mountain in the distance. If we stay focused on getting there, but flexible with which road we take, we'll eventually get there, even if we don't know the exact route. With ADHD, even after we've identified our goals, we need to include a ramp-up period. While someone else might say, I'll go do X 2 times a week, and then just do that, that doesn't really seem to be an option for us. We need to figure out how to fit that goal into our life. Where, when, triggers, reminders, distractions. We need to view the first few weeks as a ramp-up time, as an experiment. We go into the goal with good intentions, but we may find that we can't just do something twice a week. We may try to set reminders, rewards, punishments, and still can't make it work. This is usually when we abandon our goals. However, if we are viewing the ramp up period as an experimental phase, testing out the road to see if it leads to the mountain, it gives us the freedom to change things. I had a gym membership, but I found that going to the gym was just too hard because it was out of the way of my drive home from work. So I just never went. I just couldn't bring myself to do it. I tried to find a gym that was on my route home that would be a better fit, but no luck. And willpowering myself to go to the gym on a regular basis is an absolute recipe for disaster. So I had to accept that going to the gym was not an acceptable mini goal for getting healthier. Then I took to walking outside in my neighborhood for about a year. But after my third time being followed by some weird guy I didn't know, I decided I couldn't keep subjecting myself to that either. I knew that if I got a treadmill or a stationary bike, like it goes for most people, it would become a clothing rack. But I was working from home sometimes. I realized that an under-desk treadmill, so I could walk while working, and it also had no arms to hang up laundry, might be a win-win. It helps with work when I can't focus and is a simple way to add exercise to my day without taking additional time because I do it while working and watching videos. By accepting that my long-term goal, the mountain, was different from my short-term goal, which route I took, whether it was the gym, a regular treadmill, walking outside, and then finally the under-desk treadmill, I was able to stick to my goal for longer and avoid the feelings of shame and failure that those of us with ADHD can unfairly place on ourselves. When I did fall off track and get distracted for a month or two, being able to tell myself that it was simply the wrong road or that I got a bit distracted with a side street makes it a lot easier to get back on track. I didn't fail, it was just the wrong road. Let me get back moving and find another road. If this video helped you in any way, please like, subscribe, and share with others who could benefit from this content. Go forth and do great things.